The round of 32 games of the World Cup continued yesterday. We had Norway and Ivory Coast battled it out yesterday, and Norway eventually edged over Ivory Coast. And in my previous video, I made the prediction that Norway is going to have to grind out that result, and they are going to win 2-1, but it's going to be a difficult point for them to end. And that was fact. It was obvious from the game. Norway started very well and produced an early goal, and that actually woke up Ivory Coast. Immediately they go into the game, they started trying to garner results. They worked so hard until Amad Diallo came and scored that beautiful goal, and also tried to bend in one of those free kicks. But then, Norway, it was their day. Their goalkeeper was active, and the inevitable Haaland was there. Though he did not do anything for 85 minutes, and then until when it was time, he was able to put the ball at the back of the net. You see, all the problems I was having with Ivory Coast was the fact that they didn't have a number nine, a nine that could, make runs, that could fall at the end of this ball, because these people kept on creating chances, but there was nobody to the crosses that the Ivorian left back was making to the box. There was no nine to jump at the end of those crosses, so they were lacking a number nine. Although they tried, they played their best, they came out, they created chances. In fact, they dominated the game from beginning to the end. But then, you don't know, we have one of the best coaches alive. And then when it was time, he was able to put the ball at the back of the net. I wish I could say the same for Ivory Coast. I wish they had a Drogba kind of striker who was there to help them slot in goals from the chances they were creating. But unfortunately, there was none. It is what it is. One thing I've learned from this tournament is that the best teams don't usually win. It was in the case of South Africa and Canada. South Africa played most of the game, but then Canada buried their chances when it mattered. So in this tournament, remember how you can put the ball at the back of the net, and Haaland was there to do that at the very right time. And the next match there was France between and Sweden. I said again that game was going to end 3-1. I think I respected Sweden too much. France attack is frightening, bro. Like, did you see what they played? What happened to Sweden? They kept on attacking and attacking and attacking. They scored a lot of offside goals. They made a lot of offside runs. There was literally no way Sweden could stand up to France's attack. Mbappe was in a hot form. He has now scored 6 World Cup goals. And then Ulis, oh my God, Ulis the conductor. Although he tried to score, but he couldn't score. But he kept on creating chances. He assisted Mbappe and then assisted Barcola with those beautiful connecting passes that he keep making. So I'm saying again once again that France is one of the best teams in the competition. They have some of the best players in the world. In fact, France is the only team that boasts of world-class players in every position, at least 2, if not 1. They are very, very good. So it was an even match between France and Sweden yesterday. We were expecting a win from France, and they did not. There was no upset. They didn't disappoint. They put Sweden to bed. In fact, from the first half, it was very clear that game was over. So Sweden had no chance. In fact, I think I overrated their strikers. They didn't do anything in that game. It was very, very difficult for them. That attack that France kept on mounting, they kept mounting attack. I think that Sweden were very lucky to be able to leave that game with 3-0. It should have been more. But then, it is what it is. Some underdogs are not just fight, and in this case, France were too much to see any upset from Sweden. And then the last game was Mexico and Ecuador. Oh my God, Mexico are becoming the dark horse of this tournament. They've played 4 games so far, and they have won 4 games so far without conceding a single goal. The only team that have kept a 100% record in this tournament. So that puts them as favorite as of now, and I'm looking forward to how where they will finish in this competition. And back to the game. The game was tense. It was physical, but Mexico pressed so hard and they kept pressing. In fact, they buried the game in the first half. But one of the problems that Ecuador have is they have a lot of good defenders. In fact, their game boasts of the best defense, but then they have issues with the attack. They don't have attackers who can actually take on players. They kept running straight lines. There was no technicality. There was no link up play. There was no connectivity in that attack. There was no creativity as well. So that game was easy for Mexico. In fact, the Mexican game, the Ecuador game was the easiest that Mexico have played. I will say the same for France. It was the easiest game they ever have to play. So the big team dominated and got the win as expected. and there were no upset tonight. And I hope you enjoyed the match. Tell us what match did you enjoy the most, and did any of your predictions enter? For me, my predictions for Norway was 2-1. It worked. My predictions for Sweden was 3-1, but Sweden could not score. And then that of Mexico, Ecuador, I predicted 2-1, and then Ecuador could not score. So it was an entertaining game of tonight, and we are looking forward to the next fixtures.